Hello again. Welcome to the final episode of the Dreaming of One Day podcast. A podcast designed to help you relax and gently drift off to sleep while you dream of the Western Cape, South Africa, quite literally. You see, this podcast uses guided imagery to help relax the mind and assist with sleep. With each episode, we visit somewhere special in the Western Cape and plant a seed for your subconscious mind to process, increasing the likelihood you'll dream about it once you drift off. You can dream of a sunny afternoon in the historic Cape, or spend the day out spotting dolphins and southern right whales in the waters of Gansbaai. To explore more of the Western Cape's dreamy destinations, be sure to listen to the other episodes available. For tonight, we're exploring the hills outside Nelspruit in the Cape Karoo, looking for where the Sun and Koo people left their mark with rock art and engravings. So take a deep breath and let's begin. Find a position that's comfortable and settle in. With every breath in, start to relax your body and mind. With every out-breath, feel your muscles melt as you sink deeper into your bed. There's nowhere else you need to be than right here, right now. Take one more deep breath and let your eyelids feel heavy and begin to close them if they aren't already. Listen. What strikes you first about the Cape Karoo is the stillness. But if you really listen, it isn't silence. It's quiet at first. But when you stop to listen, you can hear the wind rustling in the low bushes. You can hear the chattering insects and the odd bird call above. The sounds quickly soaked away by nature. On a long abandoned loop of the old N1 highway just outside Beaufort West lies Nelspruit, a small community in the depths of the Cape Karoo. It's a place of immense spaces and wide-angled horizons that seem to stretch on forever. With a sky so vast, at night it feels like you can reach out and touch the stars. Driving through here, you've noticed the dramatic changes in the landscape from the Western Cape you're used to. With little rain, it's semi-arid. With fewer trees, the ground here is more scrubby and grassy. With low-growing succulents and aromatic shrubs, it's a world of greys and browns. Even the green here seems barer and stripped back. In time gone by, the Sun and Koo were the only people who lived around here. They took shelter in the safety of the Tierkloof mountain, where the wilderness winds of the Cape Karoo only whisper during the harsh winters. They've left their mark in the hills and on the dark dolerite rocks that dot the surrounding veld. And we're on the hunt to find art left over, weathered for thousands of years out in the open and somehow still the same. Every effort is being made to ensure that the rock art and engravings aren't damaged in any way. And so you meet with your guide, a local custodian and caretaker of the site. As headmaster of the local school, he's often taken the children out for walks here, and with their much sharper eyes, they found rock art and etchings that older eyes might have missed. Over months and years, they found rock etchings of elephants and eland, of ostriches and jackal, of voortrekker women in skirts and wartime graffiti. And they're still finding more. You meet him on an old road and follow his vehicle to a spot just outside Nelspoort to start the tour. It's morning and already warm. Looking out across the landscape, the light just seems to flow on and on, like water spilling out. Nothing holding it back except for the occasional hill or koppie. The hills here are topped with rocks like crowns, making shadows fall like robes behind them. You come to a stop and climb out the vehicle, a bakkie to the locals, and you're struck by the scale of it all. You're surrounded by vast swaths of nothing but stone and hard ground, covered with low brush and hardy grass. In all this open space, the Tierkloof mountain that runs long behind you seems unreal almost, like the backdrop to a play or the muraled walls of a cathedral. Walking through the veld, your shoes make a satisfying crunch with every step on the hard, dry ground. It's hard to imagine anything thriving here, but they do. Your footsteps have gotten the attention of a few local meerkats, their faces turning together to look right at you before scurrying away in unison. Their cat-like brown bodies move swiftly and almost simply vanish before you spot the holes that act as entrances to their homes. You don't have to walk very far before you spot your first engraving, pecked into the dark brown of a stone nearby. It's an eland, an antelope that once roamed the surrounding plains. Its body carved into the natural curve of the stone. A short walk further brings another one, this time a human figure with no face. It's been said that we, as people, first drew animals to show and understand the world around us. Then we drew ourselves as we tried to figure out our place in it. Watching the etchings for more than a moment, they almost start to move, silently dancing, flying, charging and falling across the stones. The tour continues a bit further up a small hill to one of the larger rocks in the area. This is something special, you're told. A striking dark dolerite, or ironstone, as it's sometimes called. Large enough for 6 people to gather around it, it sits perched on top of a few smaller stones, lifting it slightly off the ground. But this stone isn't like the others. This is a rock gong. Chipped away in parts, it shows the signs of being hammered by people with stones. Your guide hits it with the flat of his hand. It produces a metallic-sounding noise that spills out into the surrounds. You give it a slap in the same spot, and again it makes a low elemental sound. Looking out across the low plains, it's easy to imagine how the sound would have traveled unencumbered over the landscape, chiming like church bells or like song over the hills. It connects you to the past somehow, playing this instrument that isn't an instrument, in this cathedral that isn't a cathedral. It's getting late now. The sky is changing, recreating itself even, being reborn into pastel shades of purple, blue, pink and gold that are beginning to spill out into the horizon. In the distance, across the sky as shafts of light burn through the clouds and peer out in beams. Although still far away, You can hear the low rumble of thunder. The locals here know just how far the wind can carry sounds. They tell a story passed down of how voices can carry for so long that if you're quiet, you can hear voices that have been riding on the wind since before you and I, since the beginning. This is where we'll leave you for tonight. On this little hill in the vast open space of the Cape Karoo, quietly listening for the voices of the first people who moved through here and made their mark, until you're able to visit again.